Solutions Live. I have a special guest joining me across the country. And are you sunny today? Sunny California?
We are overcast.
Overcast California. Well, we're sunny Florida here. We are a little overcast right now too, but Devan's joining me from Modesto, California, correct?
Yes, in the Central Valley.
Very cool. And she owns Central Valley Play and Grow out in California. So, Devan, I'm going to let you kind of introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about your space, and then we're going to talk about the topics that you have said that you'd like to talk to everyone about today.
Absolutely. Central Valley Play and Grow is an indoor play and learning space for children under 6 years old and their caregivers. And so what we have here is our gross motor equipment. We have a learning classroom, and we run a variety of programs throughout the day, every week, to enhance learning and create enriching experiences for families.
Very cool. So how long have you been open?
Play and Grow's been open for 4 years now. I've personally had it for the last year and a half.
Very cool. How's that been? How's business ownership going, and how's owning a play space?
It's interesting.
Yeah.
I taught my kids to use that word when there was a lot of experiences kind of all wrapped up into one. It's a difficult journey, but it's been very enriching, and I've learned a lot from the families that we serve.
Very cool. You basically have echoed everything I said over the past 10 years when I owned a play space. It's a great and fun journey, but it's hard, right?
Yes, it's very difficult.
Yeah,
but there's
sure.
there's a lot that goes into it, and you're able to be, I think if I were to say my favorite thing about it, it's most definitely that I'm able to be creative every day. And that's not something that everyone can say. I'm able to create something every single day.
Truly, truly. So, of course, one of the things that would probably be on most people's minds when they're watching this, talking to a play space owner right now, how are you doing in regards to COVID-19?
We pretty much came to a screeching halt. Life for me as a business owner in this domain, we went from working 7 days a week in some capacity to completely screeching halted at the stop sign. And so there's been some adjustment of trying to determine what our families are going to need and what play outside of home is going to look like. And it's given us an opportunity to be very grateful and excited for the opportunities that we've had. And we're hoping that the next couple weeks will give us a new sense of purpose, and we'll be able to come to terms with what play in a facility will look like.
Yeah, I've had a couple of calls with a variety of different play space owners, and I think that's the burning question right now. What will the future look like as a play space owner? What will the future look like for our customers coming into our space and utilizing our space? That's been the question for a lot of play space owners. Before we get to your topics today, tell the viewers, what have you been doing to pivot with your business? What have you been doing for your customers? What kind of content have you been putting out there? And have you been making money in any way since COVID-19 has basically shut your business down? What have you been doing?
You know, that's a great question, and something that I've been pondering for the last, it's been 2 weeks for us here in California, just for over 2 weeks where we got the mandate. And for us, really what I've been doing is I went home, and like I said, I basically just stopped everything, and I have been really reveling in what does life look like for me as a mom? What does life look like for me? And how can I then transform that experience into something creative? Like I said, that's the best part about this job. And for me, that was just standing still. And that's not my typical MO. I don't normally just stand still. I'm very much an action, let's get going kind of person. And so for me, it was a time to be like, what are the key learnings from this situation? What have I not been doing? I haven't been standing still. I've been working 7 days a week. I've been dragging my kids to work with me. We've been getting up early on Saturday mornings and working late on Sunday evenings. And so for me, it was very much about, let's just stand still. I'm not going to be posting dance videos online. I'm not going to be trying to serve my customers virtually. I'm going to hold space for them while they're home, connecting with their families. And so what we've been doing in order to hold that space is just staying connected. We have about 400 customers in our database at the moment, and we have about 3,000 followers on Facebook. And so we're just staying connected through conversation and through connected messages. If we have a class relationship where I'm actually teaching clients, then I can actually call them individually and stay connected in that way.
I love that. I love that. And it's a different approach than I've seen some PlaySpace owners taking. I love the empathy in that. It sounds like you've really taken a moment to figure out what it feels like to be one of your customers. So you're looking from the outside in. I really like that approach. So when you messaged me, you wanted to talk about some very specific things that are really important to me. So when you messaged me, I was like, oh my gosh, yes. So let's get into that. You said that you wanted to talk about creating connection and intimacy for customers and meeting individual needs through programming. Give me a quick rundown of what do you mean by that?
Well, creating intimacy for Play and Grow is really about meeting the needs of a few people. So that may not be a ballet class full of 20 little girls in a tutu. That might be a dinner together with 3 moms and their kids playing, because that's the only time that they get to just sit down and talk to another adult, such as our Growing Pains program, which is a monthly support group for women. And we meet individual needs by listening. So building relationships with our customers over months and days of talking to them and sitting down next to them on the play floor, telling them that we can watch their child while they go use the restroom in peace. Our intimate,
so important.
Our intimate environment allows us to build relationships with people so that we can listen to what their needs are.
Have you found that doing that in your space has made your space unique in and of itself as compared to the other places that parents can go play in your community?
Absolutely. For example, some of the things that my staff might say is, you know, it wasn't very busy today, but I had a lot of floor time with the kids today. And that to me is priceless, just for my staff to even recognize the value in being an important figure in a child's life every day, especially when you may not have an intimate relationship with that child outside of our space. So we definitely are set apart in that way, in that we have relationships and the kids are looking forward to coming here as if it was the house of a cousin or an aunt.
Yeah, when I had my play space, and it seems like yours is very similar to what I was doing, I referred to my play space as that living room that you don't have at home. We're just an extension of your house. That's what I would say.
Yes.
So
that's exactly, we are like a big living room. Come in, take your shoes off, sit down, make a mess.
Yeah, totally. So tell me a little bit more about the services that you guys offer in your place in regards to some of those key points that you talked about. You talked about a women's group that you had at your place. Tell us a little bit more about that and some of the other programs that you offer.
Absolutely. So Growing Pains was started out of my own personal experience of being a single mom, and a girlfriend of mine and I would invite each other over every other week to our homes, and we would have our kids play, and we would cook dinner for each other and just hold each other up during a really hard time in our stories, our journey of single motherhood. So Growing Pains really was born out of that, just an opportunity for us to come together. We have a family meal together. We feed the moms and the kids, and then we release the kids in their facilitated play by our staff. And then a teacher will lead the group, and we do a variety of different activities, whether it be journaling or art. And then we talk a little bit about ways that we can practice self-love. Some of our other programs include Between the Lines, which is another filling in that gap type of program where we provide services for children who are not meeting special ed criteria but still need some support. So we create low ratio programs, and we run a class that's specifically dedicated to building language for children between 3 and 5.
Wow, that's so important. That's really cool that you're doing that at your space. When you're cultivating those programs, are you creating those programs yourself, or are you seeking outside resources to create your programs? Tell us a little bit more about that.
Absolutely. That's really the most exciting part, is that I'm able to work with our staff. We have a binder, we call it our idea binder. And my staff will just
Cool.
write down, they'll just write down different ideas. And sometimes it's a post that they saw. Sometimes it's just, oh, my daughter loves this new doll. You should try something about this. And other times it's customers coming in and saying, do you have a date night program? Like, I want to drop my kid off and go to dinner with my husband. And so we get inspiration from a lot of different places. One of the things that we don't do is we don't steal other people's ideas. So if one of like a local PlaySpace is doing something amazing, I allow them to do that and just support them so that they can have their beautiful ideas and not have the fear of someone else coming and taking them.
Let's talk a little bit about that. I think that one of the things that I learned as a PlaySpace owner, probably like 5 or 6 years into the game, but that I'm finding to be really important and that I'm sharing with PlaySpace owners now when I work with them or just have conversations, is collaborating and not exactly looking at competition as like an icky thing anymore, but looking at your competition as being a part of your community and figuring out how you guys can grow either together or grow separately, but cohesively. Is that important?
Absolutely.
Tell me a little bit more about that, because it sounds like you're doing that.
Yeah, that is really important to me. And I feel like we as individuals, but also as businesses, provide unique offerings for our community. So I have an education background personally, so I bring that vibe and that energy to our PlaySpace. So everything for me,
that's cool.
Yeah, everything for me is about learning. So even a full-fledged tantrum for me is about learning. Okay, what are our needs right now? Let's just let him kick this out right now, and let's just hold space for him, and let's teach our friends to sit around and love on him while he's struggling right now because he can't have the blue car and he really wants the blue car. And then other times it's really about how can we enjoy a specific holiday together with My Heritage. So one of the things that we did was a Motherhood is Wild event where we celebrated Native American style. We danced around a bonfire, we had face painting and head dressing activities, and we created that Native American powwow, which is something that I celebrate with my family every year. And I think that that's really exciting and something unique for us. Another thing that I really feel like we do really well is bring education down to a very basic and granular level. So it's a part of every day, whether it be a 3-minute situation or a 3-week project that we're working on, everything is brought down to that level.
Wow, that's really cool. It sounds like you're doing some really important work at your space.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I know that sometimes as a PlaySpace owner, things can be really hard. You're in the day-to-day thick of it, and sometimes you don't get the recognition that you deserve. But I just want to tell you that based on what I've seen and talking to you now, it sounds like you're doing an amazing job and that you are a pillar in your community for the families that are there.
Thank you so much. We love what we do.
You're so welcome. It really sounds like it. So tell me a little bit more about the future for your space. When you open back up, what are some goals that you have for your space?
So we are right in the middle of what would have been our expansion to a building that's twice the size of our current building.
Wow,
and so for us,
cool.
so for us, we're kind of holding on to what will that look like for us? How will we grow in the midst of all of this fear and togetherness? And I think for us, our goals are really centered around rebuilding community. Because if this pandemic has done anything, it's really put us all into isolation mode and separated us. And for me, as a woman, as a business owner, as a teacher and a mother, I feel like leaning on each other and standing on our shoulders, the shoulders of others, is really how we all succeed. We don't get anywhere without someone else, boosting us up over the fence, so to speak. And so I really feel like that's where Play and Grow will really shine, is that togetherness and support is really the pillar of our business, and it's really the pillar of the environment that we create for our community. And that will be our role moving forward, whether it be in this space if we can't move forward and can't make that commitment at that time, or whether it be in a larger space where we can create a different style of environment and a different level of community for the Modesto and Central Valley area.
Got it. Tell me, how big is your space? How big is your space, and what is your idea new space going to be like?
Well, our current space is 3,400 square feet, and we have a party room that is about 1,000 square feet, and then we have a couple small offices. So our play floor itself is just around 2,000 square feet.
Okay.
And that's really great for that intimacy. One of the key statements that I make is that you can see your child from every corner of our facility, which is huge when you have little ones. You don't want them running off on their own. Independence is not what you're looking for at that stage. So with our larger space, one of the, I think, creative moments will be trying to find and recreate that intimacy in a larger area so that families can still enjoy that safety while having more to offer. And so that's going to be our next big project, is creating a space that families can feel safe in, but also feel very challenged in as well for learning and creativity.
That sounds really great. It sounds like you have really been thinking this out and you have a plan in place. Speaking of a plan, why is it important to have plans and goals as a PlaySpace owner? Tell the person that's watching this right now if they're aspiring to be a PlaySpace owner, or if they're a new PlaySpace owner, or if they're a seasoned PlaySpace owner. Sounds like you have some plans and goals. Why is it really important to have a plan for yourself for, the future?
I think this was the biggest takeaway so far, was that I did not have a plan when I came in. And I just kind of took over somebody else's creation, somebody else's baby, and then realized that is a passion of mine, and really a skill, is that I can just come in and recreate it and make it completely different and all mine. And so I think without that plan, you really you would follow the same path that I did, where you really kind of fumbled for like the first year. I was just kind of picking up ideas off the floor and like trying to throw them out in a couple weeks. And that's just not something that it's really not going to make you successful. So my suggestion and my key takeaway for the planning was, you need to be planning a year in advance. And so at first I was thinking six months in advance is a great goal, but really what I did this year, like I said, after about a year of struggling, was laid out my entire year before me on a big whiteboard and just said, what do I want to do every month? What do I want to do? What's my plan? And it really gave me the big picture perspective of getting my information out there, lowering that stress level of what am I going to do this month? It's what am I going to do 3 months from now, 6 months from now, 12 months from now, and how are we going to be a resource for our community all year long?
I think that's so important. And I am so proud of you, because that's one of the things that I coach my clients on, is really prepping a year in advance with all the things that you'd like to do with your play space. So I think that it sounds like you're ahead of the game in that aspect, because once you've done it once, you can keep doing it. You already kind of know what has worked in your space. You have an idea of what you'd like to do as far as activities and events, but putting it on a board and writing it all out and kind of having a plan in place is great, because if you want to add things into what you've already planned, great. But now you've lowered your stress level by not having to fly by the seat of your pants or your bootstraps.
Yes, so true.
You go month to month. I think that's so important, and I'm really proud of you for figuring that out pretty early on.
Thank you. I could have used your guidance, I think, early on, so that I wouldn't have struggled so much.
That's the teacher in you. I love that.
That's very true. And I've had a really great team. I have to say our team has changed quite a bit, but the team that we had early on was just as amazing as the team that we have now. Everyone has put in so much effort, and their contribution to Play and Grow is huge. And I think without my team, I never would have made it this far. And so I really want to make sure that I lift up the team that has helped Play and Grow become the pillar that we are in our community.
Very cool. That's so important. That's so nice that you're giving the accolades to them as well, because true indeed, that's how we grow, is based on our team, right? So I see some really cool things in the background. What's your favorite toy at your place?
My favorite toy of all time is definitely my climbers, because I feel like when I see the kids jump on a climber, they recreate it all their own. So this, although like just to the naked eye, it looks like a climber and maybe it's a pirate ship because it has a wheel. But when a kiddo gets up there, it becomes everything from a tree house to a bed. And sometimes they're laying down sleeping. Sometimes they're jumping off the top of it like a mountain. Sometimes they're climbing up the side like Yosemite. So it just totally takes on a completely different meaning depending on who's on it. So those are definitely my favorite toys. Anything that they can climb on, they can recreate.
Yeah, true indeed. I love that. So how do you go about procuring or choosing your toys for your space?
So originally when I acquired Play and Grow, I just bought everything. She basically just handed me a key and I was able to kind of come and pick and choose. And one of the first things that we did is we eradicated all of the battery operated toys. And that took a little while because it's not just something that you can just come in and rip everything out, and all of your customers and children that have come to love your space, they needed time. So yeah, it took about 3 to 4 months to pull the battery-operated toys off the floor. And then when I was choosing new toys, I was choosing toys that would be very versatile. So toys that would be able to be entertaining our 1-year-olds all the way up to our 6-year-olds. So toys that were able to grow with the family. And then number one is sanitation. For us, sanitation is so huge. So we have to have things that are easy to sanitize and that can be done wiped by hand, because we do everything by hand. We're not a spray and leave it type of facility. Everything in our facility is cleaned by hand multiple times per day. So sanitation is
tell the people that is important. I was a hand wiper for my toys too. Why is that important to you at your space to hand wipe instead of just spraying?
It's important to me because, that's my philosophy, is that we have to wipe it off, because when we're looking at the age that we serve, we're working with kiddos that are still mouthing toys. They're putting things in their mouth. They're wiping their face. They have their hands in their mouth, and then they touch these items. So I really want all of that off of our toys throughout the day so that every child has the opportunity for optimum health and sanitation. So I feel like if you're just killing it and leaving it there, then you're creating an environment that's going to be more susceptible to future contamination. So for me, wiping everything off and starting fresh every day and multiple times throughout the day is the cleanest and healthiest environment possible.
That sounds really good. So do you want to show everyone on the video your place? Do you want to walk around and kind of give us a little tour of your space? Very cool.
Absolutely. So we have like I said, a really small space. And what we're looking at here is we have a small lobby where our families can come on in. And then we have our play floor. And we have our climbers. And we have our smaller areas with our kitchen and our infant area. And for me, the biggest thing for me is space for the kids to move around. So when we think about where the kids are going to be walking, I want to make sure that they can walk and move in between our equipment really easily and not be tripping over anything or not be running into things. And so less is really more for me. And we have a couple storage spaces where we're able to put things away and bring new things out so that we can create a space that's dynamic but also safe.
Rotate your toys.
Yes, often. Usually at least once a day. But depending on who's working, I allow all of our staff to create their own play space so they can,
that's super cool.
they can design their play space every day. So when the staff comes in the morning, they have full ability to just do what they want. So sometimes I'll come in and one of my staff will say, I did something different today. Sounds amazing. Whatever you are excited about, the kids will be excited about.
That's really awesome. I love that. I really love that. Is there anything that you would like people watching this video to know about your space, about being a play space owner, or just anything in general right now?
Absolutely. I want customers to know that Play and Grow is a place of learning. So no matter what happens here, the most important thing is that you and your child are learning and that you take something away that will enhance your life and help make you the best person, parent, and caregiver that you can be for your family. And so ultimately, we're here to create programs and provide support in any way possible, and be a resource and an encouragement to your family.
Very cool. And then, is there something that you would like other PlaySpace owners or aspiring PlaySpace owners to know about becoming a PlaySpace owner? I think what would be helpful is, can you kind of speak to that coming from a person that acquired a space from someone?
Sure. I think anytime you take something that somebody else started, you have that. It took me a while to be even comfortable starting and changing things. And there's still some things that I'd like to change that I haven't changed yet, just because it takes a lot of planning. And I think you really need to become comfortable with who you are and how your play space is a part of you and an extension of yourself, so that you can make those changes and create those nuances in a way that really speaks to your own personal values and what you're trying to present to your community. And I would definitely say that you will have to be brave and take chances, and there's going to be some times that you might fail at something, whether it be an event or a program. It just may not be what you were expecting, but don't give up. Just try it again in another arena, in another season. Once your customer base and your community really becomes comfortable with you, they'll learn to know you and what you're excited about, and they'll be excited about it too. So don't bury those dreams or those programs that maybe didn't take off. Just file them away and then revisit them when you're doing your annual plan, so that you can really ignite that fire in your customers as well.
That's really good advice. I could not have said it better. I have turned the comments back on. I don't know if anyone's going to comment before we got off today, but I have turned them back on. So if you're out there, you're watching, and you would like to ask Devan some questions, please feel free to type your comments into the comment box below. If you are not able to type your comments in right now, or you see this live video later, Devan, how can people get in touch with you?
Absolutely. We're pretty basic on the tech, but we do have Facebook at CV Play and Grow, and we also have, you can reach out to us there. You can also email us. We are a small and very intimate establishment, so I really can get back to people every day, which is really amazing. And you can email us at DevanCC, which is DEVAN CC at cvplayandgrow.com, and that comes directly to me so that I can communicate with you directly.
That's very cool. Well, it's been a pleasure talking with you today. I'm so excited and honored that you reached out to be able to be on this show. It's always really exciting to me to get to know other PlaySpace owners and to hear their stories. So I'm really proud of you. I think that you're doing an amazing job. Take care of yourself, okay?
Thank you. You too. Thank you so much for your insight.
Thank you for yours as well. Bye, Devan.
Bye.